going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Halloween. This actually isn't the video I thought I'd be getting out on Halloween, but the month just kind of got away from me. I actually have 3 videos that I've been working on throughout October that I thought I'd get out before the season was over, but I was wrong. So look out for those in November. And you know what? We're spooky year-round on this channel, so it's not that big of a deal. But in this week's video, I'm gonna put this down. In this week's video, I'm going to show you guys how I made this cute little skull centerpiece out of stuff that I found at the Dollar Tree. And because the Halloween season's coming to an end, you might find some really cool little plastic skulls for cheap on sale everywhere. And I'm going to show you how you can spruce them up and kind of get a more semi-realistic bone look out of them. And, maybe get some ideas for things that you could do with clearance Halloween decor. So let's hop right in.
Our candidate for this makeover is this skull that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I was actually really surprised at the quality of the sculpt on this, considering the fact that it's from the dollar store. And to get started, I first need to fill this hole on the chin because it'd be pretty annoying if I left it there. And to do that, I'm going to just shove some air dry clay up in that. I almost said something bad, and I'm smoothing it out with a wet finger to make the transition as smooth as possible. I am now going around with an X-Acto knife to remove all the sort of seam lines that I can. I don't get all of them because, it's just for me. So you can go really ham getting this skull prepped if you want. I'm sanding it down to make the texture of the surface a little bit rougher so that the paint will stick to it more. And spoilers, I should have used a coarser grit of sandpaper for this because I run into some problems later, but we'll get into that when we get into it. But, I'm still going through the motions, thinking that I'm doing a great job roughing this bad boy up. And once I'm done sanding it, I can hop in with paint. So originally I started out by basing this bad boy in a straight from the bottle plain white, and I had the intention of going over that with a series of brown washes and dry brushing and all that sort of stuff. But you can see where I start to run into some problems. As you can see, the paint did not, in fact, stick. So once I started going over it with these wet-ass washes, it re-loosened the paint beneath, and it became fairly easy to just rub it all off. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to rub off as much of this paint that didn't work as I can and start over fresh. Once I had gotten all the frustration out of my system, I rebased everything out in this off-white sort of bone color, very fitting, that I got by squeezing that plain white paint in with the brown wash that I had made, and I got a good color out of it. Once that base coat was dry, I decided to not risk it with the paint washes a second time, and so I ended up using chalk pastel to do the shading instead. This is a method that I typically use when I'm doing skulls for my smaller doll projects, but I decided, hey, why wouldn't it work on a big one? And guess what? Spoilers, it did work. And so before I go into montage mode and let you just watch me shade this skull for a while, I'm going to do my quick calls to action. If you like art and craft and other sort of doll makeovers, customization videos, consider subscribing to my channel. I put out new videos pretty regularly, and I like to make spooky stuff all year round. So if that sounds like something you'd like, click that subscribe button. If you want to buy some of the stuff you see me make on this channel, check out my store. The link to that is in the description. quick Randy tangent. Have any of you guys seen the movie Bad Moon? It's a werewolf movie that came out in 1996, and it made me feel insane because I didn't read the plot synopsis. Maybe I did. I don't even remember. The plot synopsis did not prepare me for what the movie actually was. So it blended genres that don't really feel like they should go together. And those genres are horror and dog movie. You know what I mean by a dog movie? Like a movie where the main character is a dog. Like Air Bud. Air Bud is a dog movie. Beverly Hills Chihuahuas is a dog movie. And so I put on this movie expecting it to be a werewolf movie, which it was. To be fair, it was. And we kept getting so many shots of the dog early in the movie. And I was just like, okay, haha, is the dog the main character? Well, guess what? Guess what? The dog is the main character of that movie. And I was not ready for that, because I was like, wow, I really kept expecting to spend more time with these human characters. Wow, I wonder what that kid is up to. I wonder what this mom is up to. She's like a lawyer. I wonder what she's doing. Oh, this guy's a werewolf. Oh, he's so worried about hurting people. I wonder what that's about. It doesn't matter what that's about. What matters is that a dog is trying to save his family. And we spend most of the movie just watching a German Shepherd bark outside. And like, listen, if I wanted to see a dog freak out for an hour, I would just hang out in the living room when there's kids playing outside. It was bizarre. So if you want to watch what if Air Bud was actually fighting a werewolf, check out Blood Moon. Wait, no, that's not the name of the movie. Bad Moon, 1996. Okay, back to art. Anyway, yeah, I'm covering this bad boy in Mod Podge. I'm just dumping it on there and I'm spreading it around my fingers because every single time I use a brush with Mod Podge, I ruin the brush because I'm bad at taking care of brushes. Don't judge me. Once the Mod Podge is dry, I decided to go in with some black acrylic paint and sort of black out the eye holes and the nostrils, because I typically like the more high contrast look that creates. Though, looking at this footage now, I kind of feel like I could have left it as is and skipped this step, but I think it looks fine either way. Once the skull is finished, I move on to the flowers. So for these, I'm using these red carnations that I also found at the Dollar Tree. And looking back now, I kind of wish that I got like a little bit more variety, but I think it still comes out cute. So I'm removing all the flowers from the stems as well as the leaves. I'm planning on using both. And to prep the flowers, I'm going in with watered down black acrylic paint. So I'm just kind of going back and forth between paint and water to sort of like darken all of the petals. And I'm really focusing this towards the like core of the flower to sort of create a bit of depth and like not quite an ombre effect, but you know, like it gets lighter towards the tips. Though after a while, I do just start kind of going ham, flinging black paint around to kind of get this sort of black ink splatter sort of effect that I think looks kind of cool. I also go through and add black paint to the leaves as well, just sort of darkening up the centers and keeping the look kind of cohesive. Once I have all my flower parts prepped, I can start figuring out how I want them arranged and gluing them down onto the skull. This part was really fun because it kind of brought me back to high school when I used to take this sort of floral arrangement class, and so it was very nostalgic and a fun experience, besides all the burning of myself that did happen. It only happened a couple of times. You know, I did make sure to use my thimble when I remembered, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta shove your hand in some hot glue. No, don't. That's horrible advice. Don't do as I say or as I do. Just follow proper safety precautions. And once all the flowers are glued down, I sort of trim the leaves down so that they don't have the little plastic bits, and I place those as well. Once I got all the flowers and leaves placed, I felt like it still looked a little bit too plain. So now I'm adding these little shiny red beads to just add little bits of interest between the petals, just to help fill up some space to sort of break up the monotony. I decided that wasn't quite enough, so I'm also taking this black wire and making a small loop on the end to catch the beads, and I just thread them onto this wire and just create a little, I don't know what to call it, but a little thing to sort of also add to make a little bit more interest in the silhouette of the arrangement, so that there's also little bits sticking out, so it's not just like a little perfect hedge mound of flowers. I also decided to make these little dangly bead bits by stringing a bead onto a piece of sewing thread with a needle at the end of it, and just tying it on to create a stopper and threading the rest of the beads that I want on there until I have my desired length. And then it's time for more hot glue. I made a couple more strands, and I decided to place these so they would be sort of framing the eye holes, because at this point I just knew that I needed to bring some interest further down the skull because it was just looking way too top heavy for me, and this is sort of the only solution that I could think of. But I think it works. I think it looks cute. And once these are all glued in place, it's done. I know you already seen the final results, but here it is again. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you all next time. Love you, bye!